Hello everyone. Welcome back to Naruto Fix. Today we have another interesting what if Naruto story, which is what if Naruto and Hidan became immortal rivals. Part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, without wasting any time, let's begin. Rain fell over the ruins of an abandoned temple hidden deep inside the land of fire. Lightning flashed across the sky. Thunder shook the mountains. And standing in the middle of the storm, a 16-year-old Naruto Uzumaki was completely lost. Honestly, this wasn't unusual. Why does every forest look the same? His voice echoed through the rain. No answer came. Because nature hated him. Probably. Naruto groaned and kicked a rock down the mountain path. He had been returning from a mission when a storm forced him to take shelter. Now he had no idea where he was. Then, something strange happened. A scream. Far away, but definitely human. Naruto's expression changed instantly. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward the sound. Because that's what Naruto did. He ran toward problems, usually causing larger problems afterward. Minutes later, he arrived at the ruined temple, and immediately froze. Bodies. Dozens of them. Bandits. Mercenaries. All dead. The stone courtyard looked like a battlefield. Blood covered the ground. Weapons were scattered everywhere. And standing in the center, laughing like a complete maniac, was a silver-haired man holding a massive triple-bladed scythe. Naruto blinked. What? The man looked up. Wide grin. Crazy eyes. Covered in blood. Oh. Silence. Then he pointed at Naruto. Another one. Honestly, that was not a reassuring greeting. The stranger rested the scythe over his shoulder. You're kinda late. Naruto stared at the bodies. Did you do this? The man looked around, then back at Naruto. No. Silence. Naruto raised an eyebrow. The stranger sighed dramatically. Yeah. Thunder exploded overhead. The silver-haired man grinned wider. I did. Naruto immediately entered a fighting stance. The stranger laughed. Oh wow, you figured it out. Honestly, Naruto already hated this guy. Then suddenly, he noticed something strange. One of the dead bandits moved. Naruto's eyes widened. Wait. The body slowly sat up. Confused. Alive. The blonde shinobi froze. What? The bandit looked terrified, then immediately ran away. Naruto blinked repeatedly. The silver-haired man laughed harder. Oh, that's hilarious. Silence. Naruto pointed at the fleeing bandit. He was dead. Yep. He's alive. Yep. What happened? The stranger shrugged. No clue. Naruto stared. You don't know. Nope. Thunder crashed again. The man spun his scythe casually. Then suddenly smiled. Actually, his eyes narrowed. I think you did it. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Naruto frowned. What are you talking about? The stranger pointed directly at him. Then quietly whispered. Your blood. Silence. Rain continued falling. The man stepped forward slowly. 3 drops landed on that guy. Naruto's stomach tightened. Because he remembered. During the fight with the bandits, one of them had stabbed his arm before he arrived. A tiny wound. Nothing serious. The stranger's grin widened. Then he came back. Lightning flashed. Naruto's expression hardened. Who are you? The man laughed. Then slammed the bottom of his scythe into the stone courtyard. Boom. The ground cracked instantly. My name is. His smile became almost feral. Hidan. The name meant nothing to Naruto. But years later, every nation would remember it. Because this wasn't the Hidan history knew. This wasn't the Akatsuki Immortal. Not yet. This was a younger Hidan. Before Akatsuki. Before Kakuzu. Before the wars. Before everything. And somehow, his path had just crossed Naruto's. The worst possible outcome for everyone involved. Especially reality. Then suddenly, Hidan's grin disappeared. For the first time, his eyes locked onto Naruto's wound. Then his expression changed. Confusion. Real confusion. That's impossible. Naruto frowned. What? Hidan stepped closer, studying the blood running down Naruto's arm. Then quietly whispered, "No mortal blood does that." Silence. The storm intensified. Naruto immediately stepped back. "You're weird. You're glowing." "What?" Quote, "Your blood." Naruto looked down, and froze. Because Hidan wasn't joking. The blood dripping from his wound wasn't red anymore. Tiny golden sparks flickered inside it. Like liquid sunlight. The two boys stared silently, neither understanding what they were seeing. Then suddenly, the entire temple shook. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOM. Ancient symbols hidden beneath the ruins ignited. The ground cracked apart. A massive circle spread across the courtyard, covered in forgotten markings. Hidan's smile vanished completely. "Oh," Naruto pointed. "Oh, that's your reaction." The silver-haired boy slowly stepped backward. For the first time, he looked nervous, and that honestly terrified Naruto. Because crazy people should never look nervous. Then the ancient circle fully activated. Golden light erupted into the sky. A voice echoed from beneath the temple ruins. "Ancient, forgotten, hungry. The two vessels have finally met." Silence crushed the storm. Naruto froze. Hidan froze. The voice continued. "After centuries of waiting, the ritual begins." Lightning exploded across the heavens. The temple started collapsing, and somewhere deep beneath the earth, something ancient awakened, something connected to immortality itself. And somehow, Naruto and Hidan were both part of it. Neither knew why, neither knew how, but one thing became clear immediately. From this moment forward, their destinies were tied together. Not as friends, not as brothers, not even as enemies, but as immortal rivals. And the first chapter of that rivalry had just begun. The temple exploded. Boom. Ancient stone shattered into the sky while golden light erupted from beneath the ruins like a volcano awakening after centuries of silence. Rain evaporated instantly. Lightning twisted unnaturally, and standing in the center of the collapsing courtyard, Naruto Uzumaki and Hidan stared downward. Because something was rising. Something enormous. Something old. Very old. Naruto immediately jumped backward. "Nope." Honestly. Reasonable response. Hidan didn't move, mostly because he was too busy grinning. "This is awesome." Honestly. Terrible response. The earth cracked apart completely. And from beneath the temple emerged a gigantic black altar covered in forgotten symbols. Chains wrapped around its surface. Thousands of chains, each one glowing with ancient chakra. The voice echoed again. "The vessels have arrived." Silence crushed the storm. Naruto frowned sharply. "Who are you calling a vessel?" The altar trembled. Then suddenly, a face appeared inside the stone. Not carved. Alive. Golden eyes opened slowly within the black rock. Watching them. Waiting. The face smiled. And Naruto immediately hated it. "You carry the blood of dawn." The eyes shifted toward Naruto. Then toward Hidan. "And you carry the blood of dusk." Hidan blinked. Cool. Silence. Naruto pointed at him. "Why are you excited?" The silver-haired boy shrugged. "Ancient prophecies are kinda awesome." Honestly, Naruto couldn't argue with that. Then suddenly, the altar released a pulse of energy. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOM. The world froze. Naruto's vision blurred instantly. The temple vanished. The storm vanished. Everything vanished. And suddenly, he stood somewhere else. A battlefield. Ancient. Endless. The sky burned crimson overhead. Mountains of corpses stretched toward the horizon. And standing among them, were two warriors. One wrapped in golden light. The other surrounded by darkness. The golden warrior refused to die. Every wound healed instantly. Every injury vanished. The dark warrior laughed while entire armies fell around him. Immortal. Both of them. Naruto watched silently. Then the vision shifted. The two warriors turned toward each other. Weapons raised. Hatred burning. And suddenly, they attacked. Boom. The world exploded. Continents shattered. Oceans evaporated. Entire civilizations vanished beneath their war. Naruto's eyes widened. What the hell? The ancient voice echoed around him. The first rivals. Silence. The creators of immortality. The battlefield vanished instantly. Naruto returned to reality, breathing heavily. Nearby, Hidan looked equally shaken. For the first time since meeting him, the silver-haired lunatic wasn't smiling. The face within the altar slowly opened both eyes. Then quietly whispered, "You saw them." Neither boy answered, because they had. Then the face continued, "Two immortals, two brothers, two enemies." The chains around the altar rattled violently. Their bloodline split long ago. Quote, Naruto's stomach tightened, because somehow, he already knew where this was going. Then the face pointed toward them. And now it has returned. Silence crushed the ruins. Hidan frowned. Quote, "You mean us?" Quote, the altar smiled wider. Yes. Naruto immediately shook his head. No, nope, absolutely not. The face ignored him. One carries eternal life. Its gaze fixed on Naruto. The blood of dawn. Naruto froze. Then the altar turned toward Hidan. One carries eternal death. The atmosphere changed instantly. The silver-haired boy's grin vanished. Because suddenly, those words felt wrong. Naruto noticed it too. Quote, "What does eternal death mean?" Long silence. Then the altar answered. "The power to kill anything." The storm stopped completely. Even the rain disappeared. Because for one horrifying second, the world itself seemed afraid. Hidan's eyes widened slightly. Quote, "Anything." The altar nodded slowly. Even immortals. Silence crushed the ruins. Naruto immediately pointed at Hidan. No. The altar smiled. Yes. Then suddenly, golden symbols appeared across Naruto's injured arm. At the exact place where his blood had fallen earlier. The markings spread upward slowly. Like glowing veins. Naruto stared. Quote, "I don't like this." Hidan suddenly looked at his own hand. And froze. Because black markings were spreading across his skin too. Dark symbols. Ancient symbols. The opposite of Naruto's. The altar's voice deepened. The ritual has begun. The chains around the monument started breaking. One after another. Snap, snap, snap. The sound echoed across the ruins. Naruto's instincts immediately screamed danger. Then suddenly, the first chain broke completely. And something emerged. A hand. Pale, ancient, human-shaped. The hand grabbed the edge of the altar slowly. And started pulling itself free. The face within the stone immediately changed. Fear. Real fear. Naruto froze. Because ancient evil objects should never become afraid. Then the altar screamed. Actually screamed. Run. Silence. Naruto blinked. Quote, "What?" The altar's eyes widened. Run. The second chain shattered. Boom. Dark chakra exploded into the sky. The entire mountain range shook violently. The hand continued emerging. Followed by an arm. Then a shoulder. Then, a laugh. Soft. Ancient. Wrong. The altar trembled. The first immortal. The world stopped. Naruto slowly looked upward. Then toward Hidan. Then back toward the thing climbing out. And for the first time tonight, even Hidan looked terrified. Because the being emerging from the altar wasn't dead. Wasn't alive. Wasn't human. It was something trapped between both states. And as its glowing eyes slowly opened, they locked directly onto Naruto and Hidan. Then it smiled, like someone finally finding two things they had been searching for over 1,000 years. And softly whispered, "My heirs." The ruins fell completely silent. My heirs. The ancient figure stood atop the shattered altar while broken chains hung from its body like dead serpents. Lightning flashed, and for one brief second, Naruto Uzumaki saw its face clearly. Then immediately wished he hadn't. Because the first immortal looked wrong. Not monstrous. Not terrifying. Familiar. Like every human face blended together into one impossible being. Young, old, male, female, everything at once. Nothing at once. And its eyes. One gold, one black. Exactly like the markings spreading across Naruto and Hidan. The first immortal smiled softly. "You've grown." Silence. Naruto immediately pointed. We have never met. Honestly. Important clarification. The ancient being chuckled. Oh, I have met every descendant. The storm darkened instantly. Thousands of them. Its smile faded slightly. None survived. Quote, the atmosphere froze. Hidan's grin vanished. Quote. What? The first immortal slowly stepped forward. The mountain beneath him cracked instantly. Each generation produced one heir. Silence. Until now. Quote, its gaze shifted between Naruto and Hidan. And that is the problem. Naruto's stomach tightened. Because suddenly, the altar's earlier fear made sense. Then the broken monument screamed again. Do not listen to him. Quote, the first immortal casually waved one hand. Boom. The altar exploded into dust. Gone instantly. Naruto's eyes widened. Quote. Okay. That was definitely evil. Honestly. Very evil. The ancient being laughed softly. Then looked directly at Naruto. The blood of dawn. Golden light flickered around Naruto's arm. The strange markings spread further. Healing old scars instantly. Tiny cuts disappeared. Bruises vanished. Even exhaustion faded. Naruto stared. Quote. What is happening? The first immortal's smile widened. You are remembering. Silence. Then it turned toward Hidan. The blood of dusk. Dark symbols spread across Hidan's hand. The silver-haired boy suddenly looked upward. Far above the mountains, a bird flew through the storm. Without warning, the bird died. Instantly. No wound. No attack. Nothing. It simply fell from the sky. Dead. The world stopped. Hidan froze. Quote. No. The first immortal nodded calmly. Death answers you. Silence crushed the ruins. Naruto slowly looked toward Hidan. Then toward the dead bird. Then back. Quote. Nope. Honestly. Appropriate reaction. Then suddenly, the first immortal raised both hands. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOM. The world disappeared. Again. Naruto hated when ancient beings did that. The storm vanished. The ruins vanished. Reality itself vanished. And suddenly, they stood within an endless white void. No sky. No earth. No horizon. Just endless nothingness. Naruto frowned. Quote. Where are we? The first immortal answered immediately. Before history. Silence. The void rippled, and images appeared around them. Ancient cities. Lost civilizations. Empires erased from memory. Thousands of years unfolding in seconds. Then, two figures appeared. The same warriors Naruto saw earlier. The Golden Immortal. The Dark Immortal. Brothers. Rivals. Monsters. The first immortal pointed toward them. My sons. The void became silent. Naruto froze. Hidan froze. Then the ancient being continued quietly. One received life. The golden warrior stood, wounds healing endlessly, never aging, never dying. One received death. The dark warrior lifted his hand. And mountains collapsed. Cities died. Entire armies fell. The first immortal lowered his eyes. They destroyed the world. Silence. Then the vision changed. The two brothers fighting. Again. And again. And again. For centuries. For millennia. A mortal hatred consuming history. Then, both vanished. The void shattered. The first immortal looked directly at Naruto and Hidan. They could not kill each other. Silence. Because life cannot destroy death. Quote, its black eye glowed. And death cannot destroy life. Naruto's stomach dropped. Because suddenly, he understood. Then the ancient being softly whispered. But their descendants can. The world stopped. Hidan's eyes widened. Quote. What? The first immortal smiled. The smile of someone revealing a secret hidden for ages. The ritual evolved. The void trembled. Every generation grows stronger. Its gaze locked onto Naruto. Until one heir of life appears. Then toward Hidan. And one heir of death appears. Silence crushed existence. Then softly, together, Naruto immediately pointed. I don't like where this is going. Too late. The first immortal spread its arms. And thousands of ancient symbols ignited across the void. The final generation has arrived. The symbols surrounded Naruto and Hidan instantly. Golden around Naruto. Black around Hidan. Opposites. Perfect opposites. The ancient being's voice echoed endlessly. One of you will inherit immortality completely. Silence. The other will inherit death completely. The void cracked. Reality screamed. And suddenly, both boys felt it. The connection. Not friendship. Not destiny. Something worse. A bond. Ancient. Unbreakable. Naruto could feel Hidan's heartbeat. Hidan could feel Naruto's breathing. The link formed instantly. Both froze. What the hell? What the hell? They spoke simultaneously, then immediately pointed at each other. Stop copying me. Stop copying me. Silence. The first immortal laughed. A genuine laugh. Almost happy. Perfect. Honestly. That word terrified Naruto. Then suddenly, the void darkened. The first immortal's smile vanished. Instantly. For the first time, it looked afraid. Real fear. The ancient being slowly looked upward. Towards something beyond the void itself. Then whispered. Impossible. Naruto frowned. What now? The first immortal didn't answer. Because something was approaching. Fast. Ancient. Dangerous. Even more dangerous than the first immortal. The void split open violently. Boom. A massive golden chain crashed through reality itself. Then another. Then thousands more. The first immortal stepped backward. Actually backward. Fear spreading across its face. And from beyond the broken void, a voice echoed. Cold. Furious. Ancient. Found you. The first immortal froze completely. Naruto stared. Because somehow, the being that terrified immortality itself, was coming for them. The void exploded. Boom. Thousands of golden chains tore through reality itself. Not chakra chains. Not ceiling chains. Something older. Something that existed before shinobi. Before villages. Before history. The endless white void cracked apart as the chains spread in every direction like a living storm. And standing at the center of it all, the first immortal looked terrified. Actually terrified. Which immediately made both Naruto and Hidan panic. Because when ancient immortal monsters became afraid, normal people usually died. Quickly. Very quickly. The cold voice echoed again. Found you. The chains tightened. The void trembled violently. And suddenly, something began descending from above. A woman. Tall. Ancient. Golden hair flowing endlessly behind her. White robes covered in strange symbols. Her eyes glowed like burning suns. The moment she appeared, the first immortal stepped backward again. Naruto pointed immediately. Oh come on. No more ancient people. Honestly, he was reaching his limit. The woman ignored him completely. Her attention remained locked onto the first immortal. Pure hatred radiated from her. Not anger. Hatred. The kind that survived thousands of years. Then she spoke. You escaped your prison. The first immortal smiled weakly. Temporarily. The woman raised one eyebrow. The chains immediately wrapped around entire sections of reality. The message was clear. She wasn't interested in negotiating. Nearby, Hidan quietly whispered. Who is she? For once, nobody answered immediately. Then finally, the first immortal sighed. The first jailer. Silence. The woman slowly corrected him. No. Golden light exploded around her. The last survivor. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Because suddenly, Naruto realized something. This wasn't a battle between good and evil. This was ancient history returning. Ancient wounds reopening. The woman pointed toward Naruto and Hidan. Why did you awaken the heirs? The first immortal looked toward them. Then smiled. Because time finally ended. The world stopped. Naruto frowned. What does that even mean? The first immortal's smile widened. Then softly whispered. The cycle is complete. The black markings on Hidan's arm burned. The golden markings on Naruto's arm ignited. Pain exploded through both boys simultaneously. The connection between them deepened instantly. Memories flooded their minds. Not visions. Not dreams. Real memories. Ancient memories. The golden immortal brother. The dark immortal brother. Their wars. Their hatred. Their loneliness. Thousands of years of conflict. Naruto grabbed his head, because suddenly, he felt everything. Every death. Every battle. Every betrayal. The dark immortal brother standing alone after centuries. Unable to die. Unable to rest. Unable to escape existence. Then another memory. The golden immortal wandering endless kingdoms. Watching everyone he loved grow old and vanish. Again. And again. And again. Immortality wasn't a blessing. It was torture. The realization hit Naruto like a hammer. Then suddenly, he heard another scream. Hidan. The silver-haired boy had fallen to one knee. Blood streamed from his eyes. Because he was seeing the same memories. The same suffering. The same endless loneliness. For the first time since Naruto met him. Hidan wasn't smiling. Not even a little. Then the memories stopped. The void stabilized slightly. Both boys breathed heavily. The first immortal quietly watched them. Then softly asked, "Now do you understand?" Silence. Naruto slowly stood, his blue eyes darker now. They weren't rivals. The first immortal froze slightly. Naruto continued. They were prisoners. The woman with the golden chains looked toward Naruto sharply. The first immortal became silent. Because Naruto was right. The brothers hadn't chosen their war. The ritual chose it. The bloodline chose it. Immortality trapped them. Then suddenly, Hidan stood up too. And for the first time, his grin was gone completely. Those idiots. Silence. Naruto looked toward him. Hidan clenched his fists. They fought for thousands of years. His voice sounded angry now. Not crazy. Not manic. Just angry. And neither one figured out they were being used. The first immortal's expression darkened instantly. Because somehow, both boys had reached the same conclusion. The ritual wasn't inheritance. It was manipulation. The bloodline forced conflict. Forced rivals. Forced immortals to kill each other forever. Naruto pointed directly at the first immortal. You did this. Silence. The ancient being smiled sadly. Yes. The void froze. The confession landed like thunder. Then quietly, the first immortal continued. I feared death. The endless white world dimmed around him. So I created immortality. His voice became softer. I feared loneliness. The chains surrounding reality rattled. So I created descendants. Silence. Then, for the first time, the ancient monster looked tired. Very tired. But immortality became suffering. The woman remained silent. Because apparently, even she couldn't deny that. The first immortal lowered his eyes. I spent centuries trying to fix my mistake. Then he looked toward Naruto and Hidan. And failed. The atmosphere became heavy. Then suddenly, the woman stepped forward. Golden chains surged around her. Enough. The void shook violently. The cycle ends today. The first immortal nodded slowly. I know. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled. Not evil. Not cruel. Relieved. The expression shocked everyone. Then he looked directly at Naruto. The blood of dawn. Then toward Hidan. The blood of dusk. Silence. And softly whispered. You are different. Naruto frowned. How? The first immortal laughed quietly. Then pointed. Because you already hate each other. Silence. Naruto blinked. Fair. Hidan crossed his arms. He's annoying. You tried to sacrifice random people. They were jerks. That doesn't help. Honestly. They were already arguing. The first immortal laughed harder. Then softly continued. But neither of you wants the other dead. The world stopped. Because suddenly, everyone realized something. The ritual required hatred. True hatred. The ancient brothers hated each other. Their descendants hated each other. Every generation fed the cycle. But Naruto and Hidan didn't. They were rivals already. Annoyed already. But not consumed by hatred. The ritual was failing. The woman with the chains realized it too. Her eyes widened slightly. Impossible. The first immortal smiled. For the first time in history, the golden and black markings across Naruto and Hidan flickered, destabilizing, breaking. Then the ancient being softly whispered, "The chain has weakened." Silence. Then suddenly, the void screamed, boom. Reality cracked in every direction. Not because of the ritual. Because something else had noticed. Something watching from beyond the cycle itself. The woman's expression instantly changed. Fear. Real fear. The first immortal froze. Even the chains stopped moving. Naruto's stomach dropped. Because now, everyone was afraid. Then a giant shadow appeared beyond the broken void. Vast, endless, ancient. Its size dwarfed entire worlds. And the moment it appeared, the first immortal whispered one name. A name spoken with pure horror. The Devourer. Silence crushed existence. Hidan blinked. Who? No one answered. Because the shadow moved. And suddenly, entire sections of reality vanished. Not destroyed. Eden. Gone. The woman immediately summoned millions of chains. The first immortal unleashed ancient power. Both enemies united instantly. Against one threat. Naruto stared upward. Because somehow, he realized the horrifying truth. The immortality ritual. The bloodline. The rivals. The ancient war. None of it was the real problem. They were created for one purpose. To prepare for this thing. The Devourer slowly opened its eyes. Endless darkness stared back. Then a voice echoed across reality. Hungry. Ancient. Patient. At last, the shadow focused on Naruto and Hidan. And the moment it did, the markings on their arms began glowing brighter than ever before. Because after thousands of years, the true reason the immortal rivals existed was finally about to be revealed. The Devourer opened its eyes. And reality screamed, boom. Entire sections of the void vanished instantly. Not shattered, not destroyed, consumed. Like existence itself was food. The endless shadow stretched across dimensions while ancient worlds disappeared within its darkness. For the first time, every powerful being present looked terrified. The first immortal, the golden jailer, the dreamless void, none of it mattered, because compared to the Devourer, they were prey. Naruto stared upward. No, honestly, that was all he could think of. Beside him, Hidan slowly lowered his scythe. For once in his life, he wasn't smiling. What the hell is that? The first immortal answered immediately. His voice trembling slightly. The end. Silence crushed the void. The Devourer took another step forward. And an entire dimension ceased to exist. Gone. Forever. The golden jailer immediately unleashed billions of chains. WHOOOOOOOOOOOM. Golden light filled reality. Chains wrapped around galaxies, around stars, around existence itself. Yet the Devourer simply looked at them. And the chains dissolved, like dust. The woman froze. Impossible. The shadow continued approaching. Patient, hungry, ancient. Then suddenly, its gaze locked directly onto Naruto and Hidan. The markings on their arms erupted violently. Golden light exploded around Naruto. Black energy exploded around Hidan. Both boys screamed. Ah! The connection between them deepened instantly. Far deeper than before. And suddenly, they saw the truth. Not memories. Not visions. Truth. The first immortal brothers. The endless war. The bloodline. The ritual. The descendants. Every generation. Every sacrifice. Every death. Everything. And finally, the reason it existed. Naruto's eyes widened. No. Hidan froze too. You're kidding. The first immortal lowered his head sadly. Because they finally understood. The immortal rivals were never meant to kill each other. They were meant to unite. Silence crushed reality. The ancient being quietly whispered. The blood of dawn creates life. Golden energy surged around Naruto. The blood of dusk creates death. Darkness surged around Hidan. The Devourer drew closer. Reality continued vanishing behind it. Then the first immortal softly finished. Only together can they create balance. The world stopped. Because suddenly, Everything made sense. The ancient brothers failed. They hated each other. Every generation failed. They fought each other. The ritual kept repeating because nobody learned the lesson. Until now, Naruto and Hidan stared at each other. Long silence. Then Naruto pointed. I still think you're insane. Hidan immediately pointed back. And you're still annoying. Silence. Then, unexpectedly, both laughed. Honestly, the timing was terrible. The devourer was literally ending existence. Yet somehow, they laughed. Because after seeing thousands of years of tragedy, the answer felt stupidly simple. Stop fighting. The first immortal smiled. A real smile. For the first time in millennia. Finally, the markings on Naruto and Hidan's arms connected. Golden light. Black darkness. Life and death. Opposites becoming one. The ritual shattered. Boom. Every symbol across the void exploded into light. Every descendant. Every curse. Every ancient chain. Gone. The immortal bloodline ended. Forever. The devourer immediately reacted. Because something had changed. Something important. The thing it had waited thousands of years for. Was no longer broken. Naruto felt limitless life flowing through him. Hidan felt absolute death flowing through him. Yet neither power belonged to them completely. Not anymore. Shared. Balanced. Whole. Then suddenly, the devourer attacked. The void exploded. Entire universes disappeared. And Naruto moved. Not alone. For the first time, Hidan moved beside him. WHOOOOOOOOOOOOOOM. Golden chakra and black energy collided together. Life. Death. Creation. Ending. Perfect balance. The resulting shockwave tore through reality itself. The devourer stopped. For the first time. Then, something impossible happened. The shadow began shrinking. Not dying. Weakening. Because the devourer fed on imbalance. Fed on endless conflict. Fed on broken cycles. And now, the cycle had ended. The ancient monster roared. A sound heard across countless worlds. Then slowly, it faded. The darkness retreated. The hunger disappeared. And after waiting thousands of years, the devourer finally left. Silence followed. Long silence. The void stabilized. Reality healed. The golden jailer lowered her chains. The first immortal slowly laughed. Weakly. Peacefully. It's over. Naruto looked around. That's it. The ancient being nodded. That's it. Then his body began crumbling into light. The golden jailer too. Their purpose finished. Their war complete. The first immortal looked toward Naruto one final time. Then toward Hidan. And smiled. Be rivals. Silence. But choose your own reason. Then, he vanished. Gone forever. The golden jailer followed. The void dissolved. Reality returned. And suddenly, Naruto found himself back within the ruined temple beneath the stormy sky. Rain fell softly again. The mountain stood intact. The altar was gone. Everything felt normal. Almost. Nearby, Hidan stood staring at his own hands. The black markings had disappeared. Naruto looked at his arm. The golden symbols were gone too. The ritual was finished. The curse ended. Then Hidan glanced toward him. Long silence. Naruto pointed. You still owe me an explanation for all the murder stuff. Hidan rolled his eyes. And you still owe me an explanation for being weird. You're weirder. Fair. Silence. Then both laughed again. Neither trusted the other. Neither liked the other. Yet somehow, they understood each other now. Naruto started walking toward Konoha. After several steps, he looked back. Hidan stood beneath the rain watching him. Then the silver-haired shinobi smirked. This isn't over. Naruto grinned. I know. Not enemies. Not friends. Something in between. Immortal rivals. The first of many battles waiting in the future. And as thunder rolled across the heavens, two destinies walked separate paths once more, knowing they would meet again. Again. And again. For years to come.